everyone. I am Toastmaster Namita, your surgeon at arms, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the second part, the educational session of meeting number 339 of Amrita Toastmasters Club. Here at our club, we foster a supportive and encouraging environment where members can hone their communication and leadership skills, paving the way for self-confidence and personal growth. Before we kick off today's meeting, I request all of you to either keep your mobile phones on switch off or set them to silent mode. Also, please note, please keep your mics off and videos on as far as possible. Discussions on sex, religion, politics, as well as mentions of our institution are strictly prohibited. Let's maintain a professional tone throughout, avoiding any swearing or offensive language. For our speakers, please keep an eye on the clock. Exceeding the time limit may lead to disqualifications. At the end of the meeting, voting and suggestion forms will be shared, so please do take time to fill them out. Without further ado, now I hand over the stage to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Ishita.
Thank you, Sadhana Tam, Toastmaster Namita. Could I get a quick thumbs up if I'm audible? Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to meeting 339, part B. Thank you all for joining us despite the late hour on a weekend. We have a very special session in store for you all today. First up, we will be having an educational session led by our very own Toastmaster Subhashini on crafting compelling speeches and structuring your script. We will also be having a table topic session hosted by Division I Director, distinguished Toastmaster Priyank. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. But before that, we have a couple of guests with us today, and I'd like to take a moment to introduce them. To the guests, if you could introduce yourselves and let us know how your weekend is going. I think we can start with guest Ayana.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Aina Madhavan from Western Ghats Coimbatore Toastmasters Club. And people would know me as the VP peer of the club. And I was personally invited by Anand. I have promised him that I'll definitely attend one of his club's meetings. So here I am, buddy. So, well, how's my weekend? I'm here in Chennai and I'm in a hostel, so I couldn't switch on the video, right? It's not quite a sight. I hope you all understand, and I'm happy to be a part of this meeting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayana, for joining us. We appreciate it. Guest Rachit Kumar.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am from I'm from UGI Toastmasters clubs, but earlier my exams has over, so now I am free. So what can be good to having a Toastmasters meeting? So I just came here, like getting the information from the Instagram. So I thought that okay, it will be good and have a fun to attend the meeting. Thank you. That's for
Thank you,
myself.
Toastmaster Rachit, for joining us. And finally, we have guest Shiva.
Yeah, hi everyone. Hope I'm audible. Sorry, I can't turn on my video because I'm outstation now. So I'm in the middle of traveling, so that will be little tricky. Myself, I am Shiva from Infosys Coimbatore Toastmasters Club, and I'm playing the XCOM role of Surgeon at Arms in our club, and it's a buddy club as well. I tried joining your club meeting previously as well, but due to some work-related meetings, I couldn't find a proper timing. But luckily today I had time, so I thought I'll just join and I'll enjoy the meeting. That's all.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva, for joining us. We appreciate it. All right. Before we move into the education session, I'd like to request you all to turn on your videos if possible. And with that, I would like to pass over control to our general evaluator, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ishita. So, good evening, everyone. I am Aditya, and I shall be your general evaluator for this evening. Thank you all again for joining us at this very late hour. And let me explain what I'm here to do. The name is pretty self explanatory, even for our guests. A general evaluator looks over the flow of the meeting and they take care that each part is taken care of. And at the end, I'll present my report on how the entire meeting flow went. Now, obviously, this is a monumental task, and I can't undertake it by myself. So I have a special team called the Tag Team, and I would like to first call upon my timer, Toastmaster Ishita.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Aditya. Hello, everyone. I'm back again, but this time as your timer for the day. So, the role of a timer is to basically time your speeches. I will be showing you three cards, the green, yellow, and red card, so that you can get an indication of how long the duration of your times, basically. So, for the project speech today, that is the education session, we will be showing the green card at 10 minutes, the yellow card at 13 minutes, and the red card at 15 minutes. For the table topic session, I'll be showing the green card at 1 minute, the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. And finally, for the individual evaluation, I will be showing the green card at 2 minutes, the yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and finally the red card at 3 minutes. There will also be a buffer time of 30 seconds for all the speeches. So if you go beyond the buffer time, you will be time disqualified. With that, I would like to pass the control back to our general evaluator, Mr. Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ishita. Very well explained, very concise. Now, I would like to call upon the A of the tag team, our R counter, Toastmaster Anand. Very fitting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. Hope I'm audible. All right. So, hello, Toastmasters and guests. I am Toastmaster Anand, and I will be your counter for the day. As an counter, my job is to count the number of filler words in each of your speeches. Filler words like and repetitions like and, so, they all disrupt our flow of speech, and it is our duty to reduce the number of filler words so that our audience can understand our speech with crystal clarity. So, on that note, I'll be coming at the end of the meeting with the outcome present. So, back to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anand. And last, but certainly not least, someone who I haven't met in quite a while, but her presence is always a welcome sight, our grammarian, Toastmaster Roshni.
Am I audible? Okay. Hi guys, I'll be your grammarian for today, and as usual, my job is to listen to every single word that is uttered out of your tongue and mouth, and listen to the good usages and usages that could be improved, and word of the night or word of the evening. Perspicacious. Repeat after me. Perspicacious. Okay, I hope none of you have heard the word because that was my goal. And this word means ability to notice or understand things quickly, to, to form a good judgment quickly without much fuss. A person with deep understanding and, let's say, a rooted knowledge in something. Quick and good in judging. The word is perspicacious. Do you want some example of the usage in a sentence? Okay. Your analysis of the situation today, General Evaluator, was really perspicacious. And the physician I visited today was really perspicacious that he was able to understand what my issue was without me having to over explain or overcompensate. He was really perspicacious. And the interview people you gave about this meeting to the reporter was really perspicacious that he was able to write a good article out of it. I hope that's clear. Perspicacious is the word. Let's try to use it in the table topic session as well. I'll see you guys at the end of this meeting. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roshni. That was very well done. As always, I would request you to put the word of the, well, night, as you so well put it, in the chat box so we don't forget to use it alongside the meeting. And before we move on to our educational session, where our dear Toastmaster Subhashni will dazzle us with her perspicacious mastery of crafting a speech, I would like to call upon her individual evaluator, Toastmaster Arti, to brief us on what exactly her project is.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I'll be evaluating our not so secret educational session speaker, Toastmaster Subhashini. This is actually an educational session which is also her project. So, level 3 has two electives. So, Toastmaster Subhashini has basically clubbed two electives together, and she is giving giving her educational session which satisfies the objectives of two electives. So the electives that she has chosen is number one, related to presentation, and number two, research and presenting. So the basic objective of the projects is to introduce or review basic presentation software strategies for creating and using slides to support or enhance a speech. And I'll also look if she is also researching something and presenting it in her educational session. So I wish Toastmaster Subhashini all the very best on her project. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aarti, for explaining it so well. And I must admit, when I first heard we had a mystery speaker, I had my hopes pinned on Toastmaster Sean. I should have guessed it would be none other than Toastmaster Subhashini. So, Toastmaster Subhashini, I wish you all the very best. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me share my presentation. I'm sorry, please give me a minute. I'm not able to open my PPT.
It's all right, take your time.
I'm very sorry, please give me 2 minutes. Is my screen visible? You can see the PPT, right? Because I cannot see what I am sharing.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
it's visible.
Okay. Very good evening, good night, everyone. I'm very sorry for the delay. Are you ready to set? Are you ready to get scripting? Answers? Hello. Hi.
Yes, yes, we
We are
are.
very ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. How do you start writing a speech? What is a speech? The very first step that I believe is necessary in starting a script is to open a document. I prefer writing it on a Google Doc, but if you're doing it on a phone notes app or a Google Doc or a blank sheet of paper, you open it and then you stare at it forever and ever and ever. That is how you write a speech. Okay, I'm obviously joking. I think the VP Toastmaster Adi and Toastmaster Ishita I will be dead by tonight if I do not properly talk about this. But the first step to starting a speech, to start scripting, right, is to think about what you want to convey and how. Think about the things that have impacted you, either in a good way or a bad way. What is the story that you want to tell? What do you think that something from your life or something you've read that if conveyed to other people, they can gain value from? What takeaway do you want your audience to have? What do you want them to feel? And what style of speaking would work well with your goal? These questions can lead to wide ranging answers. I like anime. I can talk about anime forever, but not a lot of people would be able to relate to it, or not a lot of people might be interested. Similarly, I'm pretty sure all of us have our niche interests, but how do you make it relatable? What is a top? What I'm sure a lot of us would love to talk endlessly, and what what do you even converge to? What is the topic you start talking about? Well, luckily, as Toastmasters, we have certain constraints that have been placed upon us. First of all, a speech is 5 to 7 minutes. A standard speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. So within 7 minutes and 30 seconds before the red card goes on for longer than that, you have to finish your speech. And this is a useful constraint because you know that you need to pick a topic that you can finish within this time, not something, not your life story that you can go on talking about forever. Now, for a lot of project speeches, past level 1 in Toastmasters, we have a vague topic. So, something like conflict resolution or an aspect of body language or vocal variety, something that you need to talk about. Now, this project also further should help you hone down on what topic you're going to pick. So, you either have now let's take L1P3, one of my favorites, which is vocal variety, and now you can pick a topic that suits the particular objective. So this way you get a lot of different types of speeches, a lot of different, like you get variety in topics, and when you try to hone your writing accordingly, you get better scripts. So you are placing more constraints on yourself, but you are experimenting with that. So now let's say it's conflict resolution. This typical way to talk about it would be to talk about a bunch of anecdotes of how you had a conflict, how you resolved it. Or you could talk about quotes. You can quote The Art of War. You can quote so many different conflict, like management books. I'm not the best at nonfiction, but you can just quote any of those things. But if you stick to your own style, it may not work with every audience. That's another important aspect that is there to picking a topic. And why I'm talking about picking a topic first is because that is what helps the direction of your scripting. You need to pick your topic and make sure that you align it to your audience. Now, with our college crowd, let's say you are going to talk about something philosophical. A very small portion of, like, even in our club, a very small portion is going to be able to understand what's going on. And forget people who are understanding this, there are going to be people who zone out the minute you start speaking because it's something very philosophical, it's something that's not palatable to them. So you want to, tinker it to your audience. And you need to think about what style you want to convey it in. Maybe it is a philosophical speech, but if you convey it in a humorous way, that might resonate with a college audience more. If you use the same humor with a corporate audience, that may not work the same way. So understanding your audience and finding out the way in which you can communicate to them best is an important facet of picking your topic and scripting. This is a little bit of a random tip compared to what I've been talking about, but try to grab your audience's attention before the speaking begins. I know this is something that we don't focus on a lot in Toastmasters because even in the evaluation, the title of the speech does not play a lot of importance. But using title using speech titles to grab attention is quite an incredible way. You have an interesting title, and that makes your entire audience wonder, what are they going to talk about? Even the most perspicuous audiences may not be able to guess it. So I think some examples from the speeches that I've heard in the club that kept made me wonder, what are they going to talk about? With topics like Yellow and Ochre by Toastmaster Ishita, that was her speech title. Nobody could have predicted the final output of what she actually talked about. Then there was Go Bananas by Toastmaster Sean. I remember there was quite a big uproar over what the topic was going to be about. And all of this gets your audience quite excited and engaged before you even start the speech. So that is a very wonderful thing. That's quite an interesting thing to do. And when it comes to topics, it's better to, sorry, the title, it is better to keep it short. Now, we're done with step one. Let us move on to step two. Fix the formatting. Now that you have an open document, the first thing you do is go to body, set in the Word document or your Google Doc, set it to Times New Roman, size 14. Obviously, similar to this, similar to how you'd start formatting a document, the best way to start out with a speech, scripting a speech, is forming an outline. Now, we know the basic outline, which is introduction, body, and conclusion. But how are you going to format the body? Now, I'm going to go through a few common outlines. The first one is the linear outline, and it's fairly straightforward. So you go from one thing to the next. And this works very well, especially with sequential sorry, I was about to say data, but this works very well when you're narrating a sequence of incidents. So if you're going to talk about something historical, you can use a linear outline. If you're going to talk about the stories of your life, you can use a linear outline. This will work really well with an icebreaker speech where you are talking about how you were as a child and how you were in middle school, high school, and how you are now in college. I think it is very commonly used, and it's quite an effective scripting method because it is simple, but it's clean. Once it is written well, once everything is organized well, it is a very clean format. Now, the next thing we have is a thematic speech. I think this is something that a lot of us do, right? So we have a central theme, and then you have different details or anecdotes, and you keep circling. So from the central theme, you talk about one particular aspect of it, and then you move on to the next aspect. So it's a fairly simple way when you write a script in a thematic order. You don't have to think too much about how you are going to segue, how you're going to transition from one paragraph to another, because you've introduced the initial theme, and all you have to do is add on to it. So the audience already knows what they are going to be listening about. Now, the next approach is a layered approach, which I personally feel that it would work very well when you are going to talk about uh, a layered speech, but something that has a lot of philosophy, your own personal experience, and another fact or theme. So, for example, if you have a project speech, such as something about conflict resolution, that was the last speech I delivered, which is why I keep going back to it, or leadership, which is L2P1, if you're going to talk about leadership roles. So you can talk about a story and then bring up a fact or something that happened, and then you can talk about your own experience. You use this layered approach, and this helps you go through your speech in a very structured manner, but it's not a structure that's very boring. So you can play around with it, and this will really help keep your audience engaged as well. If it tends to be just philosophical chunks, it was going to be a little boring. And then we have the full circle scripting outline, and it is personally my favorite, but it is something that I haven't ever managed to do. This is a structure where we start off with one topic. You start off with, let's say, maybe let it even be this joint phrase, and that phrase is the backbone of the entire speech, but you don't make it obvious to your audience. And you can either repeat the same phrase towards the end, or you can use something else that connects a topic. And so at the end of the speech, your audience realizes that the point you started in the beginning is what you were talking about all along. I think that was a very confusing example, but explanation, but I have an example. So there is a book I enjoy a lot. It's this webtoon series called Gourmet Hound, and in the webtoon follows a young woman named Lucy, who is trying to deal with the grief of her grandmother's passing. This is the central theme of the entire webtoon, but that is not something you understand until the end. But the novel starts, and it's predominantly about food, and the novel starts with this line that her grandmother tells her: whether you're at home with a single person or you're in the best restaurant in the world, I hope you live a life full of happy meals. And this line and this belief that her grandmother had instilled in her is what is what forms her character. It's integral to her character, and you see that in you never see it very obviously. You see that in very small ways, but that's the main reason the whole story progresses. And towards the end you have and towards the end, after you see everything she's been through, it's an entire adventure, and you have the same line repeated again. And that is when you realize that this is what they were talking about all along. This is a little bit harder to script if you're short on time. I know a lot of us as college students, we have our points in our head. We have the points in our head. We have a rough structure, and we throw it together, and we can speak about it. It's still prepared, but it's not going to be very properly planned out. But full circle is really interesting. The end product that you get is very intriguing, especially with the right amount of audience interaction and engagement. It's quite magical. It's a very magical approach, especially when it is spoken out. It's good in a book, and it's even better in a speech. Now, with your outline, what do you like now? Okay, we had a topic, right? We've thought of our topic. I keep talking about conflict resolution. So can anyone give me a topic idea? Can anyone give me the topic idea? Am I audible?
You are audible, yes. Just thinking on it, I suppose. How about friendship? Because I don't want to go too Toastmastery. There's leadership and communication, but I think we don't talk enough about friendship. So could you do something about that?
Sure. Okay. So let's say our topic is friendship. Um, can I get 2 volunteers? Please unmute yourself and let me know. I'm on Teams web, so I cannot
Okay.
actually see. I can't see you, which is why I can't see anybody, which is why it's been a little awkward because I'm just talking to my camera.
I would like to nominate myself and Toastmaster Anand if he is all right with doing that.
Yes, I am all right.
Okay.
You have your volunteers.
Yes, I have my volunteers. Okay. Now, Toastmaster Aditya, now we have our topic, friendship. And now you have these 4 outlines, right? Pick an outline that you would like to use.
I would honestly go full circle.
Okay, so you have the full circle outline. Toastmaster Anand, just pick one.
I probably go with thematic.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
I might go with thematic.
I'm so
The
sorry, I
second
really did not hear you at all.
Thematic. He said thematic. Yeah, you are audible. It's just your
Okay.
voice is cracking a bit.
Okay. So now you have your selected outlines, right? Now Toastmaster Aditya has a different direction and Toastmaster Anand has different direction in mind. Now you have your outline, but how are you going to proceed after this? So this the simplest thing to do is to think of what do you want to convey. Now if it is about friendship, you can talk about your own stories, you can talk about facts, you can talk about anything, right? This isn't there's nothing stopping you from this, as long as you have a common thread that every story or every factoid you throw has something related to friendship. And it's all about how you can creatively bring them all together in such a way that it isn't repetitive. That is one thing that's a very that's something that makes full circle scripting difficult, because repetition makes it cliche. You need to find the balance such that you don't make you don't keep repeating the same thing. You don't just say friendship, 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 friendship. Right? If you have the same thing, if the audience has that same thing screaming at them, they're just going to be bored. Now, okay, so you have the thematic approach. So now both of you know how you want to have your speech. You know the outline. You know what you're going to do. You know how the transitions are going to be to an extent. So the most important thing you would do at this point in time is to think of different stories. Now since we have 5 to 7 minutes of time, personally for me, every time I've tried, I think I've only been able to fit in up to three. I think three is a good number for you to elaborate on a lot of things. If you can focus and talk about each thing. If it ends up, I do remember one speech where someone was talking about a lot of different points, and it started feeling like a presentation rather than a speech. There is quite a difference between that. So if there's a lot of points and they don't have a common join, they don't have a clean segue, it starts to feel like you're just reading off of a PowerPoint presentation. So now you can pick out 4 to 5, or I think three is a good amount, 3 to 4 stories. Or let's say Aditya, you want to talk about a story about something you read, and about a story like an anecdote, something you read, and then you want to talk about, let's say you're going to use a quote. Now make sure that you structure it in such a way that it sounds good to the audience. There are some things that when you write it down, let's say you write it down as an article, it is going to sound amazing, it reads well. But when you say it, it might not make sense, because when you're writing something for reading, for people to read, they have longer time to process it, sit with it. You don't have that liberty while speaking, because you need to make your communication instantly. In that case, it is best to speak it out loud. This was something that someone had asked me about. How do you know what all to fit within a particular time frame? And the best thing to do, this is basically what I follow, is once I pick the theme, once I pick the top topic, I think of all the things that I would like to include. I jot it down. Once I have the outline in my head, once I know how I want to convey the rest of the content, I write it down. I write the story. I write each story individually as separate blocks. And then I try saying it out loud. I time it, and then you restructure it so that you ensure that it makes chronological sense for the audience. If it is, again, if it needs to be in linear outline, it makes chronological sense. Some things may not have happened in your life, or in whatever you're trying to talk about, in one way, but it needs to be in a different order for everyone else to understand. So that sort of ordering is quite important in scripting. Now, step 3 for any document, when you start writing a document, is to start. And how do you start a speech? Here I am only going to talk about two main, two common ways of scripting. This is something I've noticed from our club, and one of it is the question hook. This is quite a popular marketing tactic, and you see it on Instagram all the time, where they catch you with a hook question. So it's a question hook. The first thing is a question. So this gives you a lot of audience interaction. The very first thing you do is grab their attention, and once you have their attention, it's a little easier to continue it. So question hook is a very good option to start. And then we have our anecdote. I I think as of now in the club, Toastmaster Aarti's favorite way of starting is the anecdote. You start off with a nice story, and you go on to the introduction, and you move on to your speech. And when the story is connected to the rest of the speech very well, it's a very nice experience. A lot of times when you straight up hear just "Good morning, my name is so and so," it gets a little boring. It's dry because your attention is not peaked yet. So using a start like this can really help with that. So now ultimately that is really all there is to scripting. But one thing I would like to advise when it comes to scripting is that the more you write, the better you get. I know a lot of us don't write our entire speeches. It's mainly just points or the major, like any grammatical, like any sentences you want to follow. And that is a good practice when you think about speaking as such. But if you want to get better at scripting, you have to start writing. Think of it as writing an article. So you start off assuming you are going to write an article. And then once you write it, think about how you can make it into a speech. Read it out. You can get friends to listen to you speak if and ask them for their opinion. If you don't have friends who will be able to give you opinion, just think about how it would be from a third person's point of view. If they are listening to your speech, are your sentences too long? Is it too wordy? Are you conveying everything you wanted to convey? And a lot of us end up sticking onto one style of speaking. So if let's say someone does humorous speech and they continue sticking to just that, they're good at it, it's amazing, it's wonderful, but it doesn't help you with your scripting. So trying out different styles, I believe, is a very good way to improve your overall scripting. And by trying out different styles, you can find your ultimate speaking style and scripting style. One last way to one last way to improve your scripting is to never use ChatGPT or any other LLM or any generative AI as such for writing. I know it's tempting, and I know when used properly, it is quite a good tool. I'm not against it in general, but when it comes to scripting, when you are beginning, when you're starting, especially as Toastmasters, we are paying quite a large sum just to learn this, right? And it is best if we learn it as such. So it is okay if your scripts in the beginning are embarrassing to you later on. It is okay if they are simplistic, but that is better if you keep trying rather than you just getting a speech from ChatGPT and just mugging that up and reciting that. With that, I would like to thank Toastmaster Shita, Toastmaster Adi, thank Amrita Toastmasters Club for this opportunity, and I would like to end my session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Subhashi. That was quite the insightful session. For one, I think you've, as an AI student, I hear not writing from ChatGPT sounds quite dubious, but you're right. A speech comes from the heart. You need to be able to say it from where it started, which is you. So thank you for that. It was a wonderful message. And before we move on to our table topic session, it is only right I give our table topics master her proper introduction. So everyone, please welcome a retired software engineer, a passionate Toastmaster, a nature lover, passive income expert, past marathoner, bird watcher, inspirational speaker, and our current Division I director, Toastmaster Priyank.
Thank you. Am I audible and visible? Thank you. So, table topics section of a Toastmasters meeting is where we do the impromptu speaking. A topic is given on the spot, and you will not get any time ideally. If at all you need, you can take 30 seconds. That is just during the club meetings. And you have to start immediately and talk anything on the topic, off the topic, against the topic, or anything even unrelated to the topic, whatever you like to talk, except sex, religion, politics, because we don't want to offend anybody. You have to talk at least for 1 minute until you see the green card. You can go till the yellow card and then the red card. At 1 minute, the green card will appear. At 1 minute 30 seconds, the yellow card will appear. At 2 minutes, you will see the red card. After that, you have 30 seconds to wrap up if at all you want to be qualified for the voting. So, all the very best and let every one of us give a try. I have put a wheel of names. Don't know if my screen is visible. Is my screen visible? Should be.
It is. It is.
Okay. So can we go with the wheel of names because I don't know you all. I only know Roshni, so I'm going with the wheel. Is that okay?
Sure. It is quite the normal way to do so. We would appreciate it. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Okay. Okay. There was somebody with the name Amrita Club. I don't know who it is. I just took the names from the chat.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Roshni. I'm just joining through two accounts because I have to record the meeting through this account.
So you'd like to go or you'd like to pass?
Sure, you can give me a topic.
Okay. Okay. So your topic is wisdom or intelligence? What is better? Wisdom or intelligence? What is better?
Hello, everybody. I'm Toastmaster Veda. And if you ask me if wisdom or intelligence, which one is better, then I would definitely say wisdom because we all have grandparents. We've seen our grandparents, and we've seen the amount of wisdom that they carry with themselves, right? You ask them advice about anything, anything at all, they will be able to guide you and show you a path towards what you should be doing. Even though they may not be very intelligent, I mean, I do not know what to categorize that as intelligence. Right now, somebody intelligent, I would say, at least in my terms, would be someone who is good at tech or someone who's good at science. But our grandparents wouldn't be very good at tech and all that. But still, they are very, very wise. So uh, anytime you go to them for advice, they'll be able to guide us. So yeah, I think wisdom is what I would choose more than intelligence. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Veda, for your perspective. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay. Roshni V, yeah, hi. Ready for your topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Can silent leaders be effective? Can silent leaders be effective, Roshni?
To context this, have been both. So let me see. Put it this way. Whatever is the type of leadership doesn't matter if you're perspicacious. in the sense if you are able to understand what your team's vision is, what their capabilities are, and how much they are willing to put in the work. It doesn't matter if you're silent or if you're very vocal. It would only matter when you are there for the teammate when they need you. That can be silence for when they are not able to do something and just giving them a nudge saying, hey, it's okay. Next time, if you're not able to do it, just let me know. It's completely fine. Or when they're feeling down and they give you subtle cues or hints of maybe I need a push. And that time, if you're able to take a cue and deliver to what they need by not just pushing some information onto them, but then be able to put the right questions to understand what they're feeling and what their needs are, you will be able to support more. These days, leadership can be improved if you're ready to be understanding. So it is less of doing, but more of listening and supporting. So if I had to conclude, it doesn't matter if you're silent or vocal. If you're ready to be perspicacious, you're all good and the team will thrive. And I'm thankful for the people who have brought me to this level of understanding to the teammates. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you. Very well done. Rachit Kumar Singh.
Yes, ma'am.
Your topic is how does vision shape leadership? How does vision shape leadership?
Uh, how does vision leads leadership? Thank you, ma'am, for giving me such topic. Well, personally, as of my experience, I was never to be a very good leader. Like, I'm not someone, if you give me a work, I can do that. But when I joined the Toastmasters and it was my first day, I found someone who's very tall and he was the club president. And the day I met him, the way he talked to me, and I just get conveyed to how to approach things. Like, he never tell me to what to do, what not to do, and what is right and not right. He always shows me the vision. Okay, if you do this, you will get this. You know, never and always give me the choice. Okay, you have done this or not. And I personally get more acknowledged to him that step by step, like he just shows me that what can we do and what happened and what you can't do and then what happened by his words. I have learned wow, that okay, wow, what a great thing, and how to convey someone like that. And that's some of points that I have learned from my president doing as a part of leadership. I'm not good enough, but yeah, leadership always comes from the vision that okay, you have not to put someone, okay, you have to do this or not. You have to just give them a path or show the path. Okay, if you do this, it can be work, and if you not, that will not work. And something I feel that people will put themselves more forward if you give them a vision, and that's leads to a personal leadership skills. Thank you. That's from my side. Back to table topic master.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and perspectives on how vision shapes the leadership. Ilangovan, ready for a topic?
Yeah, ready, madam.
Okay. Your topic is a great leader's biggest mistake. A great leader's biggest mistake, Ilangovan.
Thank you for this wonderful topic. Actually, uh, we usually when we are reviewing the history, we used to uh, quote about the mistakes of the great leaders instead of their greatest achievements, because our normal tendency in the life is, if you praise one person 9 times and if you are quoting his mistake, or you want to correct him with one sentence, he will always pick up the last one where you pointed out his mistakes. Like that, in history also, so many leaders has done so many things in their life, but one mistake which ruined the entire kingdom or their entire fame is very notable. I don't want to spell their names of the leaders who has made such a mistakes, especially in our historical India also, during the freedom fighting, or when we are struggling to prove our rights. There are also so many mistakes done by the leaders. These mistakes has not only impacted them, but also impacted the entire history of the nations. So one mistake is not a one mistake, single mistake. It's a big flaws where when we turn on to the pages of the history, or it, when we are looking back to our uh, nation's growth. So, but mistake should be taken as a mistake only, not their mistake or our mistake. It's happened. That is the thing, we have to take it forward, and we have to learn from the mistakes and move forward. That will make sense instead of blaming the person or the event. With this, I am concluding my TT topic. Thank you, Toastmaster Priya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ilangovan, for sharing your thoughts. Yes, leaders also make mistakes. They are not mistake proof, but like you said, they shouldn't make like big flaws which will impact others for years to come. Okay, let's move to the next.
Toastmaster Ellen Govan, your mic is unmuted. Thank you.
Guest Diana, would you like to try a topic? Is she there? She left. Okay, she left, I think. Shiva? Toastmaster Shiva?
Yes, ma'am.
Ready for a topic?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we trust our gut feeling or the data? Should we trust our gut feeling or the data? Toastmaster Shiva.
This is a very ironic topic, I would say. Should we trust our gut feeling or data? you ask me, being from the software background, I say we should always trust data, not the gut feeling. There are some situations where we can go with our gut feelings, but most of the times it will be data. That is why I strongly believe it is always, I say, always better or it's always beneficial if you go with the data. That's all for myself. Back to you, Amrita Vishwa.
Okay. I think it went like a one more question, right? This or that. Probably you could have added a story or anecdote and shared why or why in your life at some point you went with your gut feeling, at some point you went with data or something like that and talked till the green card. It's absolutely okay. We'll move to the next. We have time, right? Time we have time for one more or two more.
Yes, ma'am, we have time for one.
Okay, one last one. We'll go. Neeraj Nair, is he here?
I don't believe he is now.
He is not here. Okay. There's one more question here. Nadella, Roshni. Not here, is it? Oh, she's here, right? Roshni, ready for a topic? Okay, anyone else who would like to take a topic? One last topic.
If I may, ma'am, can I volunteer?
Yeah, sure. Toastmaster Aditya. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Success versus integrity. Your choice. Success versus integrity. Your choice. Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a really good topic. In some sense, it's not right to say that you would succeed without integrity. In some sense, true success is not complete without integrity. Because you could have all the monetary wealth to show for it, you could have the world behind you backing you, but in the end, wouldn't it all just be a lie? You could trick everyone else into believing that, you know what, you are this grand overnight success story. But if you yourself know in your heart that with your own perspicacious view that what you have done is not what is seen, it's a story that you've made up that everyone else seems to view as success. And integrity is being true to yourself. It's understanding that even when you're at the bottom, you understand who you are and where you are. True success is viewing yourself as exactly what you are at all times. Because what's the point of being at the top if you aren't actually viewing yourself right? You will always doubt yourself. You will second guess yourself. There are moments you will wonder if you deserved it all. I have personally gone through moments where I have had imposter syndrome. It's something we all know very well as Toastmasters. Say you win a contest, or you get the best table topic speech, or best prepared speech, and in some sense you think maybe a competitor deserved it, one of your friends deserved it. You always begin to doubt whether you were worthy of that. And in some sense, that is something we all do as human beings. But it shouldn't become practice. It shouldn't become a habit where you try tricking yourself into thinking, you know what, everything I have done is right. Whatever I do that raises my status, no matter how I see fit, is right. Because the moment you do that, you sacrifice your integrity. And the moment you sacrifice your integrity, you are no longer yourself. You are not successful. This monstrous version of you is. And I don't think that is right. Thank you. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Aditya, for sharing that insightful topic. It was the attributes of a perspicacious leader. Thank you, Amrita Toastmasters Club, for giving me an opportunity to give you topics on the attributes of perspicacious leader tonight. With that, I pass the control back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Priyank. That was a beautiful session. I did not expect the spinning wheel. We usually don't have it, but it was amazing. You kept us all on our toes. We didn't realize who was going to get picked next, and it was absolutely amazing. They were such insightful topics, and I think I can say for all of us, we thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, of course, we come to the last and final session of our meeting, which is the evaluation session. So I would first like to call upon our individual evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Aarti, to deliver the evaluation of Toastmaster Subhashini.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening, everyone, once again. So, when Toastmaster Subhashini actually sent me the speech title, Ready, Set, Scripting, I was actually very intrigued by the title because it is actually a way to, bring in the audience together. And another thing is, of course, the way we hyped up Toastmaster Subhashini's speech everywhere, calling her the mystery speaker. It actually did set a tone, and her session was very informative. She actually reviewed, first, she started with how do we start? And then she had introduced the basic methods of formatting. Like we have set a foundation. Now, how do we format it? And then while scripting, she actually gave us a very important thing she delivered a point regarding anecdotes and questions to start our speeches. And to be honest, that actually brought in the perspicacious ability of hers. Because after she mentioned that I bring in anecdotes, that's when I realized that I bring in anecdotes because that was actually unintentional. But the way she brought out, and she also referred to so many people's speeches in our club, which actually felt very relatable to all of us. So good job on that, Toastmaster Subhashini. Some of the things that I really liked is the inclusion of humor, actually. That's unintentional humor, I suppose, because when she had mentioned about step one, to stare at the document or stare at your notebook. I thought that she's serious, to be honest. So I was like, oh, I think Toastmaster Subhashini's way is this. That's why. And she does format it really well. That's how she does it. But when she did say that, no, I was kidding, that's when actually it brought us back to reality. And she set the tone for it in her introduction itself. And then she spoke about different concepts of how different speeches can actually have different kind of elements, and that actually could help a lot of people in scripting because sometimes we struggle with scripting. For me also personally, I take minimum 2 weeks to script, and her speech actually was pretty informative for me also. Some of the improvements that I would suggest her is number one, to join at least 5 minutes early before the meeting so that we could have a technical check. Because in the beginning, I think there was some trouble in loading her presentation. So it would be better if she joins a little earlier so that we could check it once. And her conclusion was a little rushed towards the end. Maybe it's because of the time. So I would advise her to time and prepare for her presentation whenever she's doing it next time. Apart from that, she did for coming to the project completion. She did use the presentation slides really well because her slides were really very nice. And another thing is that she researched on the various formats of the speech, and she did deliver them really well. So I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Subhashini on successfully finishing her level 3. Uh, Now I pass on control back to General Evaluator Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aarti. Now, we've come to the end of the individual evaluations, and we now come to the tag team, my beloved team who has stayed steadfast throughout this entire meeting. I would like to first call upon our timer, Toastmaster Ishita, to present her report.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Hello, everyone. I'm Toastmaster Shita, your timer, and here are the timings for today's meeting. So first up, we had the education session. That is a project speech by Toastmaster Subhashini. Toastmaster Subhashini, while it was a very perspicacious session, you took a total of 23 minutes and 30 seconds. Moving on to the table topic session, Toastmaster Veda, you took 1 minute and 3 seconds. Toastmaster Roshni, you took 2 minutes. Toastmaster Rachit, you took 1 minute and 49 seconds. Toastmaster Elangovan, you took 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Toastmaster Shiva, you took 44 seconds. And finally, Toastmaster Aditya, you took 2 minutes and 12 seconds. For the individual evaluation session, Toastmaster Aarti, you took a total of 3 minutes and 5 seconds. For the individual evaluation and for the topic session, we had no time disqualifications. Congratulations, everyone. And with that, I pass back control to the general evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ishita. I would now like to call upon our R counter, Toastmaster Anand, to present his report.
Hello, am I audible? So, hello people, I am back with your counter report. Toastmaster Veda 3 1 Toastmaster Roshni 1 so. Toastmaster Rachit 7 2 like and 2 and. Toastmaster Ilangovan 6 1 so. Toastmaster Shiva 2 Toastmaster Aditya, I tried to be as much perspicacious as possible, but I couldn't find any filler words. And Toastmaster Aarti, 10 hours and 1 soup. That's it for the counter report. Back to you, General.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anand. And last, but certainly not least, our perspicacious grammarian, Toastmaster Roshni.
Okay, just give me a second to adjust the amount of times Toastmaster Aditya has used the word perspicacious. And let me lead with the leaderboard for word of the night. Toastmaster Aditya thrice, distinguished Toastmaster Priyank twice, and then we have Toastmaster Aarti, Toastmaster Ishita, and Toastmaster Anand using the word once. Good job, people. And let's try to use the word more in our daily lingo and try to confuse the people that live with us. Perspicacious. Let's all adapt this pretense of being perspicacious livers of this world. Okay, moving on to my grammarian's report. And let me start with a good usage from the educational session. The words and the usage of them sounded really appropriate for the following words: palatable, schematic, thematic, layered, full circle, and ordering. The appropriateness of these words being used was really good to observe. And to the usages that could have been better, audience realizes can be audience realize. They knows can be they know. And such such mistakes. The article a is not needed there. And big flaws can be big flaw. So, but are two continuous filler words. Any one can be used. If possible, even that one word could be avoided. And when it comes to table topic, we know it's on the spot. And we can try to avoid repeating the terms from the title. Using it in the beginning or the end or once in the body would make sense, but repeating it again would show the listeners that we might be just recycling stuff within sentences. That was all the changes that I was able to observe, and I was really happy to attend today's meeting. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roshni. And as general evaluator, I of course have to deliver my report. I shall try and be as concise as possible. So we did start the meeting 5 minutes late at 9:05. I think that's something we should avoid, considering the meeting is so late that any delay in time makes up for quite a huge amount of delay. Then our president did her job pretty well. She introduced our guests. Thank you to all of our guests for attending. I know it is a difficult time, but thank you for being here. Then the tag team, all of you delivered your introductions perfectly. Everyone understood your roles. Thank you for that. Your reports were also very concise. Toastmaster Subhashni, first of all, congratulations on completing your level 3. Kudos to you on that. I have a few notes that I have made, but Toastmaster Aarti has covered most of them. One being that we should have checked the technical aspects earlier. And I love the way you structured your educational session, the way you gave steps, like stare at it, figure out the message, who's the audience, what's the style. and you made it core to us Toastmasters, because I know this is one of Toastmaster Roshni's favorite quotes, which is, "We are condemned to be free," Jean-Paul Sartre. And in some essence, you tackle that problem almost perfectly, because all of us have chosen pathways. In some sense, our journey is constrained by the objectives we have to meet, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can still find topics that end up close to where you want your objective to be. Then figure out your audience, deal with that. I like the way you structured it that way. Your four styles: chronological for linear, then you may not need a segue for thematic, you just have to keep diving into your stories. Then for layered, you sort of build a sandwich between stories, facts, and your original perceptions. And full circle, which you rightly said, it's a magical approach, but it takes a lot to pull off and not sound cliched. So very well noticed. I shall keep in mind 3 stories is apparently the golden number. And also, you pointed out a good fact that I think would apply more to the writers of the Toastmasters here, which is understand what happens when a line reads well versus listens well, which is pretty good because what you say might be different from what you write. Then your question hooks, anecdotes. I like the way you structured the entire thing. I think we all got what you intended for us to get, which was almost a beautiful perception of how you used your own system to build this entire speech for us. So thank you. Thank you for that. As for the table topic session, thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Priyang. That was a very beautiful session. It was concise, it was well delivered. I don't think any of us expected this, but you have surpassed all expectations. There's nothing more I can say. And for the evaluation session, Toastmaster Aarti, I like the way you put it like this, which is Toastmaster Subhashni made us realize there are things we already do in our speeches without knowing, such as you using anecdotes. So realizing them is just another way to provide a sense of self-awareness. So now you can switch them out. You're not constrained by these anymore. You can switch out styles, try new things, and as she said, find your ultimate speaking style. And apart from that, I would like that if more people could have their cameras on. I understand it is quite late and we are in different situations, which our guests so aptly explained. So I will not hold them to it today. But besides that, thank you, everyone. It has been a wonderful meeting. And I would like to pass over control to Toastmaster Ishita, our presiding officer.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for that report. All right, we are moving slowly towards the end of the session. I think we had a very insightful meeting today, starting right from the education session down to the evaluations. Thank you, everyone, for such a wonderful meeting. With that, we've come to the end of meeting 339, Part B. Voting forms would have been sent in the group chat. Please do take a moment to vote for your favorite table topic speaker and your role players for the day. While we wait for the voting results, how was the meeting, everyone? I hope you all had as much fun as I did. Could we get some of their guests to share about your experience today? Maybe some comments or suggestions. Toastmaster Elangovan, Toastmaster Rachit, anyone?
Uh, am I audible? Okay, so it was really a great session. Like I really enjoyed that. So if I not, then I will leave the meeting. So I am here, so it is basically I'm enjoying it, and it was a really lovely session. Especially our table topic session, the speech that ma'am has given. It was really amazing to being get like using not ChatGPT, not use ChatGPT and written their own speech. Like literally, it was really valuable, and I learned the format of like how different kind of formats of speeches we can written, and it was really great. For me, I have enjoyed the whole session, and like literally, it was great. That's for myself.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rachit. Toastmaster Shiva, do we have you with us? I think we do not. Distinguished Toastmaster Prem, could we get your feedback?
I thoroughly enjoyed this meeting. It's always an energy boost coming to college clubs. And definitely Amrita Club, the vibe itself, the posters and the videos that you post in the TNDM, it makes us curious to come and see what exactly these college people are doing. We left college some years ago. Let's go here and experience the happy And also, this generation of college students tackle very many problems in a very different way. They are resilient. They go through a lot. They have a lot of distractions, very many different problems they go through, but still they are strong and they are already role models for the older generation like us. So I always love coming to college clubs and take inspiration from the younger generation to how to not uh, fail or fall too soon, right? You're also young, but you don't give up that easily. You're so supportive to each other, more of teamwork, sharing and openly telling things, not keeping inside and struggling. These many things are there to take from your generation, I would say. So I immediately grabbed the opportunity when there was one. Hope I did justice to the role and definitely learning a lot from you all. Happy to be here. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Priyank, for accepting our request to be the table topics master. And we had a lot of very nice table topics today as well. So kudos to you. That was a wonderful session. All right, I think we have the results for today. So moving on to the results announcement, the best table topic speaker goes to, oh, it is a tie between Toastmaster Aditya and Toastmaster Roshni. Congratulations to you both. The best role player for today goes to our general evaluator, Toastmaster Aditya. Congratulations. And finally, for our best auxiliary role player, we have our grammarian, Toastmaster Roshni. Congratulations to you both. And with that, we have come to the end of meeting 339, part B. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. With that, I would like to adjourn meeting 339, part B. If you could all turn on your videos so that we can quickly take a group picture and then we shall discuss. Veda, whenever you're ready, we'll take the photo.
Yeah, 1 second.
No worries.
Okay, I cannot turn on my video for some reason. Um,
Uh, Try it through the ATC account. Toastmaster Elangovan, if you are with us, could you please turn on your video? All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Wish you all a very happy weekend. You may feel free to leave the meeting or stay back and network. Thank you all once again.